Alright, let's go over this. What's the Mexican's name?
Hermes.
Yes. What's the plankton's name?
FF.
Oh, you almost slipped. What's the pink whore's name?
Anastasia.
Yes. Now we're ready to start. Now that the audience knows that we will be doing the 4 kids' names.
Oh, wow.
I'm the man whore enthusiast, Annie.
I just like that we have a female protagonist, Minty.
And this is FunUntitled, where we serve every podcast an FU. Alright, let's go. This is the part 2 of Stone Ocean out of, I think it's gotta be at least 4 parts.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I assume part 3 is going to be...
Oh, no spoilers, jeez.
Part 3 is going to be redacted kids, and then part 4 is going to be like the climax.
Right.
So, obviously, we're reviewing the season. There's gonna be a shit ton of spoilers. We read the manga, so we might throw in some manga spoilers, depending how nasty we're feeling.
Basically Annie, because I don't remember shit.
Yes, I am the JoJo expert for part 5 to 8. Minty is the expert for 1 to 4. Alright, so let's get into it. So last off, we had Jolene giving a pigeon a CD and said, "Give this to the world, my sick mixtape, especially my father."
You really appreciate it. He wasn't there when I made it like my mother was.
And Jolene's like, "Alright, what's my friends doing?" FS like, forget your friends. Ermi's just been following some smuck around. And she's like, "What? That lesbian's been following a man? That doesn't sound in character." Let's investigate. Meanwhile, Hermes is in like the corner being like, "When I was 5 years old, I was born without a face." No, I'm just kidding. Her mom died. I did a Game Grumps reference.
Oh, okay.
And so the sister's like, "I will raise you from now on, Hermes." And Hermes like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna leave our restaurant." I don't know why it's a Mexican stereotype that a Mexican family owns a restaurant. I was gonna say bodega, but I don't think that's Mexican.
Wait, is his sister Mexican?
Yeah, they're all supposed to be Mexican. But Annie, she's white and blonde. She's white passing, okay? We accepted this.
Maybe she's like a quarter Mexican. Because are they full sisters?
They're full sisters.
Jeans, man. Crazy.
I mean, that's not even the biggest offense in Stone Ocean of, wait, you're a minority?
No spoilers.
It's Redacted's brother. That's right. There's a man named Redacted when I wouldn't put it past Araki to have a character's name be Redacted.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be funny.
So Hermes runs away from the little Mexican restaurant. She's in a bad part of town, so like she runs past like Sports Maximum. His name is Sports Max in the manga, by the way. So I don't know why they put Sports Maximum.
You know, he's the maximum of all.
Like we're barely avoiding copyright at that point. Like we should have just called him Sporticus Max.
Oh, because FF wasn't already pretty close to copyright.
So Hermes ran past Sports Maximum killing a man, and the sister's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to turn this man into the police now." And she did. And because she did that, she was rewarded with getting murdered and being thrown in the sewers.
She was whack.
She was whack. That was whack, yo. So Hermes like, "Hey, you threw my sister in the sewers, I throw you in the sewers." And she threw Sports Max into the sewers with her new stand ability, Smackaroony.
Not really new. It was in the last season.
Yeah, but this is the second time she's using it. Like, if I wore a shirt the second time, that's still new.
But it was like 2 weeks later.
Man, the Stone Ocean timeline is so effed up. I wonder how long Jolene actually stayed in prison.
Isn't it very short? I thought the whole season of Jolene is like 6 days. Or is that some other JoJo?
That's part 5.
Oh, part 5 takes place in 6 days?
Yes.
Holy shit.
So, part 5 spoilers. Imagine you being like, okay, new kid. Alright. Oh, all my friends are dead? Okay. That's the life of Mister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this new kid becomes like the boss of your mafia group.
In 5 days. That's the biggest speedrun flex.
Holy shit.
No, because Jolene was in solitary confinement a lot, so it must have been at least a month.
At least.
At least. So Hermes put the Sports Maximum into the sewers, and the Sports Maximum's like, "Joke's on you, I have a stand." Okay, this is what pissed me off. He has a stand, it's named after the band Limp Bizkit. It's supposed to be in the 4Kid Flaccid Pancake. That's what they said in the damn game. But instead they're like, "Oh, it's Limp Bizkit." I was like, no, that's not big enough. Change it back to Flaccid Pancakes. Which is funny because Flaccid Pancakes and his stand's power is to control corpses. So the flaccid corpses he's controlling. Too much of a stretch?
Yes, and I'm trying to remember what the fight was.
That's when the invisible alligator came.
Oh, right, the invisible alligator. That was cool.
Yeah, so Sports Maximum uses his stand to basically resurrect himself. So he's like, "Ooh, look at us. Oh, ghosts now. Oh, look at the prison cemetery," which I think is fucked up there's a prison cemetery, by the way.
Where else would you put the bodies that got whacked?
I get it is America. It's very realistic. So Hermes basically just fights Sports Maximum. I didn't really care about this fight.
How did they beat a ghost?
She basically, at one point, he bit her head, so her piece of her head was inside his mouth. But when she took off her sticker that duplicates things, that means that the two items has to combine back into one. So the piece that he bit off had to return back to Hermes. So that's how she found out where his mouth was. So he basically just grabbed his head and started ramming. And then she put a sticker on his head so that way she could always grab onto his head, even though like he's technically separated from her. Because she's like, oh, I got a second head. And she just started punching and kicking.
But isn't he dead?
Yeah, well, she kicked him so hard it exercised his ghost. Like, she kicked him so hard the portal to heaven opened up and his sister came and was like, ooh, woo, thanks, sis. Bye. And Hermes like, man, I can't believe this is what Poochie's been trying to do. I opened up heaven so easily.
That's confusing.
I mean, it's not a good fight. I don't like a lot of Hermes' fight. Not because of Hermes, but because I don't understand Hermes' powers too well. Because I understand she duplicate things, but a lot of times she like duplicate things of her body parts and then it combines back into one, but it doesn't seem to hurt her. Or maybe it does and she's just wearing a very brave face.
It hurts every time.
Thank you, Wolverine from X-Men. So that was just basically the last time you'll ever see Hermes play a major role in this part of the season. Then we go on to the next unit. So basically, Hermes, she killed a prostitute. Well, not technically. She killed Sports Max, who killed a prostitute. And then they're like, whoa, who did all this? Hermes on the ground, prostitutes on the ground. We lost our best inmate, Sports Maximum. Jolene, was that you? And Jolene's like, well, I do have to go try find a bone. Yeah, it was me.
I've got a bone to pick.
So they're like, all right, you're going to solitary confinement, or the unit where all the worst inmates are in. There's a guy in there who pisses on himself. And she's like, ew. And FF is like, oh shit, if the White Snake Man finds out that Jolene's all alone in there, they're gonna kill her or send assassins. I need help. Emporio, can you help me? And Emporio's like, I'm 5. It's like, answer the question, Emporio. And she put a gun onto his head. And Emporio's like, yeah, no, she's fucked, sorry. What about the pink whore behind you? Can I ask him for help? No, he's just there for decoration. He won't help for shit. Remember when he was in part 1 of this season? He literally was there and left. That's basically him. But Anastasia was like, no, I will help. You know why? Because pulls out his badge. I'm the biggest simp in this goddamn prison. And for some reason, even though every part of me screams gay man, I'm in love with Jolene.
But they don't explain why, right?
No, they don't really. It's basically love at first sight. It's very shallow.
But didn't you just say he walked away in part 1 from helping Jolene?
No, in part 1, he was originally in the room when she first came to Emporio's stand. Whatever. I have a weird list. He was in the room when Jolene talked to Emporio and just left. But in the manga, technically that was Hermes who met Anastasia.
Oh, gotcha.
When the animators like solidified the scenes.
Right.
Yeah, so technically Jolene never met Anastasia at this point. Even though he was in that flashback when they looked at FF nasty feet.
What?
When FF was like reminiscing on all the good times of having intelligence.
Yeah.
One of them was her lifting her feet up and like Jolene picking the stuff between her toes and letter reported Anastasia was like, what the fuck?
That's gross.
It is gross. But you know, like, she's a plankton. What could be there? Plankton mode?
Yeah, but it's like probably like she doesn't clean herself because it's a plankton and a lady body.
Technically, her feet's made out of plankton. Can't they just eat the dirt?
Hold on, is FF's body whole made of plankton or does the plankton just inhabit a human body?
Oh, you're right. I think the liquid inside the body is the plankton.
Right.
So she gotta clean herself. Maybe.
FF doesn't know how.
I mean, just submerge yourself in water, man. I would love to see FF's roommate from going from a wimpy girl to FF.
Does FF sleep?
I mean, you got it. I mean,
That's gotta be terrifying that your roommate all of a sudden doesn't sleep at all now.
and she drinks out of the toilet, probably.
Yeah.
So FF is like, whoa, you're horny for Jolene? You're the only help I have. All right, let's go. And Anastasia has the power. See, I know his stand name in Japan is Diver Down. Was it in America?
Diver drive.
Okay. Diver Drive. Originally, his powers was that he could take the inertia of things and manipulate it from the inside.
But like the kinetic energy.
Yeah. But they
Very
did...
Leorio.
Very Leorio, yes. But they changed it to be like Diver Drive can literally just go inside things and manipulate and change its structure no matter what. And not really the whole kinetic energy.
Wasn't his power changed like 3 times in the manga?
Yeah, but basically it all boils down to he can manipulate insides.
Okay.
That's why he's a diver. And he has scuba gear. I think when Anastasia Anastasia is so pretty when he says, "Give us your blessing," and he does the JoJo pose.
Okay.
I love that whore. So we cut back to Jolene.
Did you give him the biggest simp badge so he would look cool, but actually it's just yours?
I let him borrow it. This is the thing I can't stand real fast about the fandom treatment of Anastasia is that they think he's like a generic fanboy character, like, but that's not him. That's really more Guess's personality. Anastasia's really like cold and yes, I do love you, but I'm gonna be cool about it. Not cool as in like subtle, but I'm gonna be like say cool things about it. Yeah, you keep nodding. Going back to Jolene, who is basically just like, all right, so I guess I should think about the gayest thing I can. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say Jolene was going to have a fever dream of Poochie and Dio floating on a bed talking about the Mona Lisa.
I mean, somebody's gotta have those fantasies. I guess Poochie, really.
I guess, so they talk about, okay, so there's a stand. It's the weakest stand. It's called Survivor. It's only a
What's
build.
the real name of Survivor?
I don't know, man. The minor villains I don't really know. All I know is that his stand user's name is Gucci, but in here they changed it to like Guccio.
Yeah, because if you don't know, a lot of characters in Jolene are supposed to be named off of like fashion brands.
Yeah, I bought a shirt that says the word Anasui on it. I wonder if I still have that shirt.
No, you gave that one up.
Oh, okay. It was ugly.
It was, yeah, but it was like a $5 shirt at Uniqlo.
So like Dio's like, terrible stand, awful stand. Do you want it? But I will get it for you. And Poochie's like, oh hell yeah. And so Poochie kind of gives it to Guccio, and Guccio like unleashes his stand. And the one stipulation is that in order for the stand to work, you have to be wet because like
What?
The stand, what it does, it gives you electricity and it like shocks your nerves so you can't feel pain and you feel really amped up to just fight to the death.
Oh, that's why they got hosed down?
Yeah, that's why they was technically why the guards were holding them all down, like under the guise of giving them a bath.
Oh my god, I did not catch that.
So it doesn't really play a part, that's why. It's just like a cool fun fact, like I thought about the science of this.
Okay.
So basically, Guccio is one of 4 assassins, and so Survivor is fighting to death.
4?
Yeah.
Well, there was 4.
Yeah. The second one was a guard, and his power is that he could summon meteors to come towards him, and it'll hit anything in its way and then disappear right before it hits him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jolene defeats Meteor Man. Who gives a shit?
It was the only match I remembered from the manga. And surprisingly, the only match that Annie forgot from the manga.
Weird. And then the man that we was warned about, the man who pisses on himself all the time, comes out. And it's confusing for Minty because he technically has 2 powers.
Wait, Kenzo's the man who can piss himself?
Kenzo is the man. He can move as if he's still very young because he does urine therapy.
Oh,
And
right.
it's so funny because honestly, when he's warning FF about him, he's like, careful, he pisses on himself. He's a freak. So it's like, okay, we're gonna keep mentioning this.
You're not gonna explain what this means.
So his natural ability that he has a martial arts where like if he shoves his hand in your mouth, like he makes your organs secrete lubrications to the point where like you drown yourself and become really bloated.
Bro.
But his second power is that because he was so good with feng shui, he developed a stand to help him with feng shui, tell him where all the safe spots are.
Dragon Dream.
Dragon dreams. Come on, go to Dragon Dreams. And Jolene's like, oh, well, this is where I die because I'm not in pain, but my body's pretty fucked up from the last fight. So FF comes in the nick of time and is like, I'll fight him. And she gets scouted, basically.
A lot of shit happens to FF in this season. Holy shit.
That's the one bad thing that, because it's on Netflix and people binge it, they want to be polite, right? They don't want to spoil anyone before they can binge Netflix JoJo. But now no one talks about the fact that FF gets really fucked up. Like in part 5, like, everyone's crying and sobbing when Mr. gets shot like 8 times, or when like Numancia, Baccio, and Bruno, like goes to the DMV
Dead mother
vehicle. So yeah, I hate the fact that it's on Netflix still.
I enjoy binging it.
Well, FF basically, she weakens the piss man, but she got in the executioner's chair, and basically there's only 3 planktons left, and the old guy's like, I'm gonna finish this. And honestly, he's like, Anastasia's like, drive, motherfucker, go hit Jolene, I fucking dare you. And he did, but Diver Drive was inside Jolene. That's right, y'all. Honestly, was inside Jolene. Call the cops.
Non-consensual.
And he manipulated the old guy's leg legs to like just become springs, and it fucked him up. A lot of people give shit to Anastasia being like, oh, so you could have defeated him from minute 1. It's like, no, his stand could only work if he tried to attack Jolene. Otherwise, it was not gonna work.
Why not put Diver Drive in FF?
I don't know.
I mean, he had a job to protect Jolene. His job wasn't to protect FF.
Yeah, because FF specifically told him to protect Jolene, right?
Yeah.
So we're done with Piss Man. Going on to Assassin number.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, you see him. He's basically like, yeah, people are failing. Is that Green Baby over there? Hi, Green Baby. Are you from the bone that we're looking for?
As expected from a woman to care about a baby.
I'm talking about the fourth assassin, not Jolene.
Did Jolene not find it first?
Well, he was watching them basically the whole time. He watched Jolene approach it.
Yeah, just like a woman.
Just like a woman. And so Jolene, she tries to go near that baby, and then she gets plants sprouting all over her, and it's like...
What was the point of that?
Just to prove that the green baby is technically a plant. Which, I don't know how. Because green baby is from the spinal disc of Dio. And it's like, Dio does not have a plant stand or a plant body.
Or any plant affiliations.
And Jonathan did not have a green thumb as far as I know.
Yeah, a dog.
Yeah, a dog.
That died.
But so I have no idea why Green Child is like a plant, but we just accept that.
Kind of.
We don't accept that?
Yeah, I mean, it still makes no sense. We have no choice but to watch where it goes.
Now the fourth assassin DNG is like, he's completely useless, which is foreshadowing his stand, basically. And just watching Jolene take the child. And, well, actually, then she took the child and the child got away, right?
He took the child, then Yamama, DNG stand, ate it.
Oh, right.
And that's why they had to bring Yamama with them as they escaped.
Right, so Anastasia and Jolene took Yamama, which is like the fandom subbiest stand by a pathetic little man, with them to escape the police, and FF had to go fight DNG.
Oh, yeah, fight. Just straight up and whack.
I mean, because DNG is so pathetic. He literally does nothing along with his stand.
But who protects DNG? Because he's so pathetic.
Our priest, our religion, our god, Father Poochie. And then FF realizes from that, like, oh shit, this is White Snake's stand user. Only a White Snake would care about this pathetic, sad sack of a man.
This would be funny if we knew all these references and knew the songs that these people play. 'Cause I know Foo Fighters is like derivative from Nirvana. Can't name me a single song from either band. I probably heard them.
Did Foo Fighters sing We're Not Gonna Take It?
Maybe?
I think they might have. No, is that Twisted Sister? I get those confused. Twisted Sister would be a cool name for a stand.
Yeah, but then we just get the English localization of it.
So FF, if you remember from season 1, FF is Plankton that was given intelligence by White Snake. So FF is like, I gotta be very careful because if White Snake takes away my intelligence, I can't be a lesbian.
This fight was dragged on way too long.
Yeah, I understand Poochie's powers. I think sometimes it's way too OP. Because are you telling me Poochie has been collecting stands this whole time and it's just like, oh, I have an arsenal of powers and I will always conveniently have the one that I need.
Yeah, I mean, almost makes it pointless to store a whole bunch of them in a tractor wheel and have a plankton monster protect it.
So he makes FF heals by getting water, but Poochie is like, okay, I'm gonna put a stand inside you. Well, if you touch water, it will become boiling and too hot for anything. And I'm like, who originally had this stand? Who was it? Poochie.
Fair though, it's not like you get to choose your stand powers.
I know, but it's just like the tower. Like, I'm guessing you died like immediately when you got this stand.
Like the Midas touch. Like, you can't survive with this power.
Yeah, but in weather forecasts, he kind of comes. Like, he smiles away, but he starts making it rain so that way FF can get away. But it's like the plot. Like, wait, does FF no longer have the CD disc now?
Yeah, it kind of disappeared.
So many times FF is like, I lost my intelligence, but she still had her intelligence. So it's like, is your IQ lingering?
I wonder if that was just her way of saying death.
Oh, we censored. They say fuck way too much. I'm not being a prude saying you can't swear. I'm saying spice up your damn swear words.
Yeah.
Like, fuck Nugget. So we're going back to Pathetic Man.
Yeah, mama.
Yeah, mama. His stand power is basically, if you look away from him, he will start attacking you because he's, what? Say it with me. Pathetic. And his spit and mosquitoes inside his body will come out and poison you and make your body melt. So Anastasia basically just defeated him, being like, well, you're too powerful, so I'm just gonna replace your brain with a flogged brain because I can manipulate anything inside, which I guess that means brains.
Oh, so FF doesn't kill DNG.
She kills DNG and that makes Yamama's body like disintegrate, and so they can get the spinal cord, but they defeated Yamama, so they didn't technically need FF.
But they didn't need that bone, right?
Yeah, but they were like, wasn't endangered, I meant.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So DNG, he dies and the bone comes out of him, but it's not a bone. It's Green Baby.
Oh, right. Okay, right.
So Green Baby's like, hi, I look like the thing that killed Yamcha in Dragon Ball.
Oh, what are they called? Green Man?
Yeah, Cyberman, I think. So the Green Baby's like, oh, you're approaching me? Well, guess what? In my previous life, I learned that bad. So if you try to approach me, you will get smaller and smaller to the point you can't approach me.
Wait, so the spine came from Dio's body,
Yes.
but Dio took over Jonathan's body.
Yep.
So that's why Green Baby has a star on his shoulder.
Yes.
Holy shit.
So Jolene and Anastasia, they fight with a baby for a little.
Oh, that's why he has a stand.
Yeah, if you approach him, just like the meme, you get smaller and smaller.
Oh god, what was it called? Did I write it down?
Nah, who gives a shit? It changes 5 times to the end of the series. But then the baby was like, I'm gonna kill you guys. But then saw the star on Jolene's shoulder and was like, you're my mom. You are my mom. You're my mom. Boogie woogie woogie woogie.
Or like oh god, how many great grandchild is Jolene to Jonathan?
we don't worry about that.
Because Joseph is his grandson.
Yes.
And then Jotaro would be great.
Great.
So then Jolene is great granddaughter. Oh, not that bad.
No, remember, Joseph's the grandson, so Jotaro's the great because we have Holly.
Oh, right. So 3 greats.
Yeah, Jolene is that great.
3 times greater than Joseph.
So then FF comes like, hey guys, thanks to Weather Forecast, who I found, I finally came here and to tell you the black man is the enemy. And they all gasp.
Whoa. They're like, whoa, FF, we've got to teach you racial sensitivity.
And then Weather Forecast hugs Jolene. It was platonic.
I like the ship.
It's a good ship. And Anastasia's like, no, you don't, bitch. Hey, look at me or else I'm gonna kill this Green Baby. And Weather Forecast's like, I don't think so. And he stabs Anastasia because
that's what the fans wanted to see this entire time since we've met this pink whore.
we all want to see Weather Forecast penetrate that whore.
Whoa.
Welcome to the next ability of White Snake that he has, disguising himself as other people.
Isn't it second like his third? Because isn't it always a contention that like what happened in the room between Jolene and Jotaro?
Yeah, people are saying that like if he has a stand ability other than this, that's just him using one of the discs.
Oh, okay.
But I always argue, if he could just use his own disc, why doesn't he do it a lot more? Why does he have to get like little shitlings all the time?
You don't send your queen out when a pawn should be able to do the job.
There's a funny tweet that's like, oh, now that we lost our queen, we have to get used to having a king where he can only go one step at a time and most likely be taken out by a horse.
That's funny.
So yeah, White Snake stabs basically everyone here. Cosmo, Wanda, Timmy.
Vicky.
Well, there's only 3 people here.
Chester. Aaron?
No, AJ.
AJ.
So White Snake's like, alright, I want this Green Baby. I'm gonna start saying the 14 keywords to turn it from a sleeper agent to like the portal to heaven, the staircase to heaven, eyes of heaven. And Joe's like, no, you don't. I learned this from Death Note. And she handcuffs herself to him and they have like a little handcuff fight. And Poochie's like, man, I don't work out. I'm gonna get my ass beat. Hey Jolene, I'm gonna put your disc inside Anastasia and
oh, that's right, because Anastasia's dying and it's like, okay, if I put the disc in him and he's dying, then the disc will die.
yes, and then if the disc dies on him, then your dad will die.
Because she already gave Jotaro's stand to the pigeon, so now she needed his memories.
Yes. And so Jolene's like, alright, you can go take the baby. I don't give a shit. I care more about my dad. And he's like, Anastasia, don't you die on me, motherfucker, and starts slapping him. And Anastasia's like, hey, FF, you're gonna have to take over my body because I don't want to see Jolene all sad. And FF's like, that's gross.
I'm gonna take it one step further. But not in a gross direction.
Yeah, I used Anastasia's intelligence for like a quick second to stabilize him, basically, and now I'm going to heaven.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, I guess we can lend out intelligence. I wish Minty would let me have the wheel sometimes. Give me intelligence. And FF goes to heaven. Plankton heaven.
Oh, she was my favorite character in Stone Ocean.
Now, and then Better Forecast comes like, what I miss?
You fucker. You could have saved FF. Me, probably not.
So Weather, Anastasia, and Hermes are now all in the hospital because we lost our white mage. And Jolene's like, alright, Emporio, we're gonna break out of here. And I hope no one hears us.
Mew, 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 mew.
What's that?
Mew, 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 mew.
What? You have a stand where like you can only remember up to 3 things?
Mew, mew, mew.
And you prevent any stand users from escaping Florida's prison system?
Mew.
Oh shit. What if, is there a way I can print something to defeat you? So that way I can just get out of prison and we can move on to the next arc in Disneyland.
Mew Mew? Whoa, what?
I mean, the Mickey Mouse copyright is gonna be released soon.
Annie,
Oh.
you know as well as I do from Getting Theory that Disney is never gonna let go of that copyright and they will always change the law that it can go their way. Ain't it? Film theory?
I think it's film theory.
Food theory?
Definitely not food theory. And I really didn't like the Mew Mew fight. It was just too confusing at one point.
Yeah, too many, like, no, these would be the last 3 things she'd remember. And it's like, but also, like, would it count as one of the last 3 things she'd remember? Because it's clearly things that, like, she will always remember. Like, she'll always know who people are.
And like, I must be stupid. I have no idea how she defeated Mew Mew.
She defeated Mew Mew.
Because the whole thing is like, oh, if you see more than 3 people, your brain can only process 3 people.
This is what I think. Like, imagine you see, like, 10 bowling pins.
Yeah.
As your eyes shift, it always changes who the 3 is.
Oh.
And I feel like when it got printed, like you see a print, and then when it kept scanning, and then she saw Mew Mew, she focused on Mew Mew.
Oh.
That's what I assume.
Okay.
They don't explain it, but because your eyes wouldn't just be constantly looking at one thing.
Yeah.
Your eye would constantly be seeing more than 3 things, which is also kind of another thing. Because okay, if your eyes are always looking at more than 3 things, then like, does it not affect like locations? Then would you go into a cafeteria and only see 3 tables?
I was very upset that they took out the Sixth Sense reference to put Memento in.
What?
In the manga, Jolene is like watching the Sixth Sense, like, oh, I know the ending of this movie. Yeah, he's dead at the end. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. Why do we let her in here? But in the anime, they changed it to like a vague scene from Memento of him being like, what am I doing here? Like as a little tongue-in-cheek of what Jolene's doing.
Mew Mew.
Shut up, Mew Mew. You're defeated already.
Those are double M names.
Oh, so Jolene's like, alright, Emporio, I defeated Mew Mew. We're breaking out of prison. Go get Hermes. I think Retta and Anastasia will break up by themselves.
Jolene, how do we escape? Just because you defeated the warden doesn't mean that we get to escape. Oh, wait, she does. That does actually, right?
Yeah, because basically she's just the warden's helping her out now.
Mew Mew.
And the next part will be in part 3, whenever that's gonna come out.
Like a year?
Because it's stupid, because we need to give time for people to binge on Netflix, then they have to air it in Japan episodic, and then we can think about putting out part 3 of Stone Ocean.
Interesting. Okay, I want to see Jotaro again.
And you won't. Until next time.